If you're unfulfilled in your life, if you're just looking for that thing that you were created to do, this program is going to help you do that. We're going to help you align with your purpose. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the broadcast for Align with Your Purpose. I'm your host, Earl Hall. Make sure that you do visit the website at www.alignwithyourpurpose.co. There you're going to find social media links, you're going to find my YouTube channel, and you're going to find actually how you can work directly one-on-one with me. I am so excited today. As you can see, those that are watching video, I have a guest with me today. Fernanda is an amazing person. And Fernanda, first of all, welcome to the program. Before I get too excited, because I'm already excited.
Thank you, Al, and thank you for inviting me, having the opportunity to speak to you and your listeners. Yes, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Fernanda, we've been joined together because of a mutual friend
Yes.
that has gone through something that you provide, which is an amazing service for the world. And through his influence, I've been able to go through the same type of thing. And what we're going to get into talking about is what you do specifically, which is a part of your purpose, you know, above and beyond probably about doing cancer research. I mean,
Yes.
being a cancer research scientist is just amazing in itself. But, you know, on the spiritual realm of all of that, what you do with QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis, is I've drank the Kool-Aid. I love it. How did you get involved with QHHT?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm still a cancer research scientist. That's still my full-time job. So, and I love it. It's not because I do that side of, science that I can't be spiritual and
Exactly.
integrating both, which I think is a misconception of polarities. I don't think they're not polar opposites. They're actually aspects, and we are complex beings, and we should embrace that.
Absolutely.
So it started really, I've always been spiritual. I was born in Brazil and raised Catholic, went to a Catholic school for 8 years, but, not too strict, had great memories from that time. But when I moved to England, went to school science, but always interested in the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
Always at different levels. When I was more into science, it was more quantum physics and molecules of emotion and things like this.
Okay.
And I worked different places. 2012, everything changed. And I was actually living in Los Angeles. I was working at the cancer hospital, City of Hope.
Okay.
Everything in my life it was just starting to fall apart. I mean, crazy. Not too traumatic, but like the job, it was when the recession hit America.
Mm-hmm.
NIH didn't have the money for the grant, so the project wasn't what I wanted. Relationship fell apart, then sold everything, and it was a difficult time. I felt really lonely, and really, it was just that feeling of there's something else that I need to do. I don't know what. I don't know how. And, and that kind of feeling like, if I don't do it now, in 2 years' time, I'm going to be exactly in the same situation again. And it's get hard and hard. The calling gets stronger and stronger.
Yes, yes.
And then after many, many weeks crying and being upset and not knowing what to do, I thought, like, you know what? I need to take a leap of faith. I have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, God bless her, was like, oh my God, after 15 years of higher education, you're not going to give it up now to start something. And I'm like, I have to. I can't explain, but I have to.
Yes.
Sold everything that I had just bought. And then also, because I had insurance because of work, I said, I'll just go to the doctors and just do a checkup. Mm-hmm. And it turns out I had 2 moles that were a bit dodgy. One of them was already like early stage skin cancer.
Okay, wow.
I'm like, oh my God, this with the flight the following week to come back.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, but I didn't have to have chemo or anything. So like, we just need to cut it out. So fine, just do it. Had 14 stitches in the arm, 17 on the chest. Next day I'm flying with bags.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then luckily my mom, she was going back to Brazil. She delayed her return, and so I could stay with her and my sister whilst I was unemployed, looking for a job for 3 or 4 and think, oh my God, I'm going to have a pay cut, start again, and all my background is in this, but I don't want to do this. How do I see myself? But, trusting, like something's going to come up. It doesn't make sense if it doesn't. And then
had you already heard of QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis, before?
No, not at that point. No,
Okay.
I was getting more and more into the spiritual things and reading more. And so then I got a job and things started shifting. And then I got more interested in Buddhism. My mom was more Buddhism at the time. So I started getting more and more into meditation.
Okay.
And mantras and things. So I think then I started quieting down my mind.
Was there a specific type of meditation you were going through?
So the type of Buddhism that we were doing at the time was Nichiren Buddhism. So it's like mantras and chanting. So you're basically getting yourself in an almost hypnotic trance.
I see.
So you can align with your own inner voice and you can hear. You don't have all the monkey mind.
Yeah.
Speaking out loud. And then I started reading books by Dolores Cannon, who created QHHT.
Yeah.
She's got many books and they're amazing. And I really like that. And then that voice, and that was about 3 years ago, that voice started coming up again. Oh, now that you're comfortable again, it's time for another layer.
Another layer.
Purpose evolves like we do.
Yeah.
And so it would be nice if it was just one purpose. But I think with every choice that we make in life, with our divine free will,
Yes,
change. And with that, our purpose also adapts. And
sure.
you are taken to different places. So then I trained for QHHT. And really, for me, the main thing with that is to empower people. Even
Let's for a moment, just to make sure, explain what QHHT is.
Yeah, so quantum healing hypnosis is a type of hypnotherapy, really. But the main focus of it is, some people call it transpersonal hypnotherapy. So it's more with self-development rather than, oh, I want to stop smoking, or, also valid and very important parts of hypnosis. But I actually even trained on that because my focus has always been, I want on spiritual development. That's what it's about, becoming who you are meant to be. For me, that's what it is.
Yes. For me as well. That's why the show's called Align with Your Purpose.
Right?
It's like, that's my focus. That's my focus.
It is. And there is a calling. There's more and more people like that. That's why people are coming, because they are questioning themselves as well. I don't know what to do. So Dolores, she was, she died 4 years ago in her 80s, and she was a hypnotherapist for like over 50 years. Yeah. And back then, no one ever talked about past life, let alone past regression and having that. So she developed a method that it's essentially just taking you down to you're just quieting your mind. It's just a deep relaxation. And we all go through that stage twice a day, when we fall asleep and when we wake up, like stage. So it's that brainwave. So you are aware, and unlike other types of hypnosis where you are unconscious, just listening to suggestions, as you know, you're constantly talking. And it feels like you're awake. And sometimes you think, oh, it hasn't worked. Until something comes up in your mind and you think, oh, but I could have made this up. Where's this?
Yeah, the experience that I had during my own QHHT session just about 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
One, it was phenomenal. It was eye-opening. And you're right. You're fully aware. You're fully, I knew what was going on every moment.
Yeah.
And there was that bit between moments that I was like, wait a minute, am I making this up? Is this...
Isn't it weird when you have the different aspects of your own self? That's why multi-dimensionality. You think, oh, that is my logical mind analyzing this other high part of me, and you are just watching it as the observer. So there's all these different versions of you talking to each other.
The thing that struck me about my own QHHT session was that, first of all, I knew and understood that the answers that were coming forth from my own inner being.
Yes.
Was from my higher self. And I could determine that very easily because I knew what was true about me. And
Yeah.
then when my higher self went into deeper truths about that I wasn't consciously aware of,
Yeah.
but subconsciously, obviously I was able to bring that to the forefront. And as I listen to myself speak, especially now when I go back and listen to the recording of it, it's just so eye-opening that we literally have all of the answers inside of
Yeah.
ourselves for what it is that we need to be doing or to do or paths to take or directions to go. We've got that constant guidance going on, but
Yeah.
so many of us simply ignore it.
Yes. And I think people hope, luckily people are starting to question that and wake up to that. And I think it's the core wounds that we have as beings of feeling separate.
Yes.
Source. Whatever label you give it to that, it doesn't matter. We all human beings experiencing, perceiving this reality via our filters, which are our experience, our background.
Exactly.
So we're going to have different labels for different gods, and
Right.
it doesn't matter. But it is that it's knowing that we are not alone, which is such an ingrained fear that we have.
There is only one.
Exactly. We're all connected, and that we are not alone, that we are not judged.
Yeah. Yes.
We're not going to be burnt in hell. We don't do that for our children. Why would the creator of everything with unconditional love do that to us? Human beings are arrogant to think that the creator of billions and billions of planets and stars behave like a human. It's not logical.
We put all of those human attributes, it's like, and most of them don't even add up. How can you be unconditionally loving and at the same time vengeful and jealous?
Yes, it's like, you made a mistake, that's it. You burn in hell forever, that's it.
Yeah.
It's like saying to a toddler that's learning to walk, you fell once, that's it. Lost the opportunity, next. It doesn't make sense. But so is that empowering and making people realize that, especially with the sessions, you have a perspective of why you are attracting certain people in your life, why you keep repeating certain patterns, and the bigger picture of things without being emotionally attached to it.
Yeah.
So it allows you to see, actually, I'm the creator of my life. Instead of happening to me, I am consciously making choices.
Precisely.
Unconscious about it, but I am at every moment of my life making a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being reflected on my reality. So if I don't like my reality, it's down to me to change. It's not changing my boss that annoys me every day, because she's living her experience and I'm allowing her to annoy me. So I can change that. And if I change myself, I change outside, and collectively we change the world, really.
Exactly.
So that's my purpose. And I always make that point at the beginning when you have that deep conversation with a client, to figure out where we're going to go. Because as the practitioner, I am a researcher, I am the scientist in that mode.
Yes.
To figure out, okay, which direction we're going to go, what we're trying to find out here, and allowing the space for the person to experience as well. Because it only becomes your truth when you experience it. And
absolutely
incarnated into a physical body to experience it. So we know it. If I say to you what's 2 by 2, it's 4. You don't have to think about it. Right. You know your truth because you've done many times.
Yes.
So we have many lives to know who we are, to learn it, get rid of doesn't serve us anymore, So that's my purpose. That's how it plays out. It plays out in different ways.
What was so impressive to me as well, when I first came into contact with understanding what QHHT was, it's like as soon as our friend Amrit started talking about it, it was like as soon as I got off the phone, I went and scheduled an appointment. I just looked it up and went and scheduled an appointment. And but the thing that was so great for me is that it's not someone telling me something.
Exactly.
I had 22 questions that I wanted an answer to, and the QHHT practitioner, great guy, basically he took me through the hypnosis process and he began to ask me the questions that I wanted answers to, and I answered those questions, or rather my inner being answered those questions for me in a very deep manner, and discovered some things about myself that I was like, wow, I didn't know that I was that off on some
Yeah.
of the ways that I was thinking about certain things, whether it was surrounding relationships or money or business or
Yeah.
whatever. The answers that I got were so on point and so valid, and they came from me. It didn't come
Yeah.
from someone else. It
And
was
that's the difference. It's not
yeah.
someone telling you. We
Yeah.
have been raised like this with an authoritative figure being your
Yes.
being school, being your government or religious,
Hmm.
telling you what you should do or what you shouldn't. And that's what has to stop. That we should just follow our inner guidance.
Yes.
We're all different. And if we do that, we are happier, and therefore our relationship to others is different, and it's happier and more loving and compassionate. We're here to learn
Yes.
love and compassion. That's it. It's pretty straightforward, but it's very, very challenging, I must say, on a daily
Yeah.
basis. Even when you are aware of it intellectually, it doesn't mean that you don't get triggered.
Yeah. I know.
And you have to let that go, right? You have to,
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you've been doing this for a while now.
yeah.
Are you able to share any like very insightful things that you've gotten from doing what you're doing with others?
I think what's interesting about the QHHT is that I end up attracting people that are very similar to me.
Hmm.
I think the higher selves kind of guide those people. Right? So when we're even talking, the challenge they have had, they can see themselves in, and vice versa. So the process is already starting right from the beginning, from the conversation.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
already the counseling almost. That you're not crazy, you're not the only one, like, oh, you
Right.
had some odd experience, and so you can share that. And then there are certain things that happen in different shapes and forms, but
Yeah.
connection with the divine, however you perceive it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always either light or love or
Yes.
vastness, is that kind of liberating feeling. Of course, also the transition of the process of dying.
Yeah.
Where you realize, actually, this is nice. Why am I scared of this? I'm going home and feeling the love and being welcomed by relatives, or even seeing relatives that have passed in session as well, and connecting with them and knowing that they are still there, they're still well, they're still alive, they're still around you. You are all one. It's not because you change from one vessel to another
Exactly.
that you stopped ceasing existing. So those things. One thing that came out a couple of weeks ago, and it's been in my head the whole week, so I think it's to share it, it's about vulnerability. And it was a clear message from the client's higher self, and they were saying, because they usually say in a collective, they say we, usually, rather than I.
Yeah.
It's that we are now in a phase that we have to learn to be vulnerable, to open hearts, that we've been for a long time raised that there's strength in protecting and closing our heart. But actually that's based on fear. You're scared of being judged, abandoned, hurt.
Exactly.
That we are actually now on a stage that we have to have the courage to be vulnerable. That there is strength and power in being vulnerable. Because you are vulnerable, you can open up your heart, you put your guards down. Other people then see the person is not defensive, so I can put my guards down. And you can your fears, your weaknesses, and you can have compassion for each other and for oneself. It's harder to have compassion for ourselves than others sometimes. It's very easy to say, oh, I forgive you, but then, you killing yourself the rest of your life for a little mistake you made. So I think maybe the next stage is that. It's about being able to be open, to open your heart and be vulnerable. That's because you connect with someone else's heart. So you're connecting at that divine level.
Yes.
Not at the mental level, you're connecting through the bit where we all connected, where we all come from.
Exactly.
So I think
too, when people understand that we are all one, we all come from one source. And that to me, and I wrote about this in my book too, is that if we can see each other as one, like I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself, or anyone else, I can completely understand the words do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Exactly.
I can completely understand husbands, love your wives as yourself.
Yeah.
It becomes, there's no color, there's no religion, there's no race, because none of that matters. That's the illusion that's pulled over our eyes. But understanding that love is basically everything, and that we all are one, it makes all of the negativity, or it allows all of the negativity to be just gotten away with altogether.
Yeah.
If it's allowed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we get that realization and understanding, and that's so phenomenal for me.
Yeah, and it is difficult for us to understand. You can intellectually grasp that. Oh, we all want nice.
Right.
You see that person as outside from you. And even this idea of we are all one, but God's above us.
Yeah.
That's another separation. Where we're not. We are an expression of God.
Yes, exactly.
God is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Within, without, above, so below.
Yes.
Everything. Nothing is outside God. So the murderer down the road, or the terrorist, whoever that we judge, they are also us. They are also God.
Exactly.
They are an expression of God, because God doesn't judge the experience. And in your understanding. And you can only be compassionate when you have played all roles in this game. One day you are the victim, another life, or in another situation in the same, you are the perpetrator. You can empathize. It's like, well, I've been in that position.
Right.
And so that's why I don't think God would judge you for that. Why would God give you free will to then judge you for the first choice that you made?
Right. Free will. I mean, a lot of religions describe free will, and they say God has given us free will to choose. And I've said, well, it's not free will if I don't choose the right thing to do and I go to hell. That's not free will.
Exactly. Right.
There's a condition on that,
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's very important to know that we are gods. We are creator gods.
Yes.
We create our lives. We co-create with everybody. And a metaphor that I quite like, which is with the idea of your hands and your fingers. If you've forgotten that you are attached to a hand, you think that you are individual, that you're separate from everything.
Right.
Actually, once you dissolve this and you connect your inner being, you belong to a hand. You're all connected, but you still have your individual experiences. But core, you're the same. And then if you go even further, you're connected to an arm that has another hand. And that makes a kingdom,
Exactly.
And you're part of a whole body that you're not aware when you are a finger, but it's there. So I think that's the bit that, because the concepts are so mind-blowing and affects the fabric of our existence and our belief systems, the only way that you can believe it is if you experience it. If you're telling yourself, you seeing the things with your own eyes. And it's common for people to ask me, do you think past lives really exist? The things that I saw are real? And I'm like, well, one, how can I tell you if that's true or not? It's not my place. And two, if it doesn't matter if it is or not, the fact is, of all the creations that your subconscious, even a dreamlike, could show you, it decided to show you this. Maybe it's a symbol. It doesn't matter. The fact is, pay attention to the dynamics of it, how you feel about what was the struggle, because that's relevant to your life now, not necessarily, because you lived in, 200 years ago as an Indian, it's interesting. And I'm not saying that's not real, but I'm saying the important bit is actually what's the message.
Well, the thing about that too, Fernanda, is that most people that you ask or talk to, they believe in an afterlife, and they believe in an eternal soul, an eternal spirit that lives on forever. And I'm like, well, eternity is backward and forward. Why are we only talking forward? Why do we not conceive of there's something before? It's like, what were you doing before you got here? Type of thing,
Yeah, exactly. Just sitting there up in a cloud waiting, right? For one goal, one choice, and you better do well, But even with QHHT, I don't know if you experienced that, but you can have progressions where you go to future lives. So you can see other Obviously, it's not defined yet because with every choice that we make, there are many timelines in terms of some field of potentiality. That's why no one can really predict the future.
Right.
Kind of read probability.
Exactly.
If what you're doing, this is what's the most likely thing to happen. That's what psychics can pick up on. It's just an energetic field. Like, this is what I see developing. So you better change if you don't want that.
Exactly.
So I think it's that, and you can see that, and you can see, well, actually, if I don't like that, I should change now because I have an impact on timelines in future.
Yes, because we have free will to do that.
Yes, it's a gift. You have to remind ourselves it's a gift and not a curse.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Thank you for it. But yes.
Well, Fernanda, I want to thank you for being with me today on this show. This has been so insightful. This has been a lot of fun for me.
Yes, thank you.
What I want to let our listeners know is how they can get in contact with you if they want to. We've got listeners all over the world, plenty in London and throughout Europe as well.
Yes.
So how can folks get in touch with you via your website or social media links?
Yes, so it's www.forgottenwisdom, all one word, .co.uk. That's the website. And if you want to contact me, just email me on info@forgottenwisdom.co.uk. And then I do QHHT sessions, and I also do energy-based therapies to help process whatever happened in the session, or individual, so Reiki, crystal, energetic kind of support. The main focus is the hypnotherapy, really. And the rest is kind of trying to help people process it and deal with it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, Fernanda, thank you so much for being here with us today. Everyone that's watching and listening, make sure you do visit the website, www.alignwithyourpurpose.co. You can listen to this interview with Fernanda and many other interviews that are there already and more to come. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening with us today, and we'll see you next time. All right.